The first time I told him I hated him, it was a lie. The truth was, I hated myself for caring too much, for breaking every rule I swore I'd never bend for anyone. And yet, here I am, standing in the middle of 7th Avenue like a goddamn idiot, screaming after him while the city honks in my ears like a judgment I deserve. Ethan. My voice cracks against the cold air, slicing through the chorus of horns and angry drivers. Don't you dare walk away. He stops, just for a second. The kind of second that feels like the earth itself holds its breath. People stare. Cars honk louder. Somewhere behind me, a cab driver rolls down his window and yells something about moving my ass before he runs me over. But none of it matters. None of them matter. It's only him. Always him. Ethan turns his head, slow and reluctant, like he's trying to convince himself not to. His eyes find mine, and I swear, for one brutal heartbeat, I see every memory we ever made together reflected back at Memecy. Beautiful, fucked up memories that feel like they belong to someone else now. Someone happier. Someone less broken. What the hell are you doing, Lucas? His voice is low, hoarse, like he hasn't spoken in hours, maybe days, maybe since the last time he slammed the door in my face. What does it look like? I shout back, arms wide, chest heaving, the cold biting at my lungs. I'm trying to stop you from making the worst mistake of your life. Ethan laughs. It's short, bitter, like broken glass crunching under boots. The worst mistake of my life was letting you in. And there it is. The dagger I've been waiting for. The one I thought I could take without bleeding out. Spoiler alert, I can't. 3 months earlier, we weren't screaming at each other in the middle of New York traffic. We were in his apartment, half-dressed, tangled up in sheets that smelled like him, with sunlight bleeding through the blinds and his laugh filling every empty space in me. Back then, his words weren't weapons. They were whispers against my skin, promises I let myself believe even though I knew better. I never meant to fall for him. Ethan Cole was a rule breaker, a heartbreaker, the kind of guy who didn't do labels or feelings or anything that smelled like commitment. And me? I was the guy who made lists, who planned everything down to the minute, who didn't believe in gambling with something as reckless as love. But Ethan didn't care about my rules. He blew through them like a hurricane and left me standing in the wreckage, wondering why destruction felt so much like home. I should have known it would end like this. It always does when I want something too much. The first time we met, I hated him. Not the fake kind of hate that masks attraction. No, this was real. Raw. The kind of hate born from a single thought. God, I hope I never see this arrogant asshole again. He was leaning against the bar at Murphy's, a local dive near campus, nursing a whiskey like he owned the damn place. Black leather jacket, ripped jeans, smirk that could start wars. And those eyes gray, sharp, like storm clouds about to ruin your perfect day. When our mutual friend introduced us, he gave me this slow, assessing look, then smiled like he'd already decided something about me I wouldn't like. Lucas, huh? His voice was smooth, casual, dripping with the kind of confidence that made me want to punch him in the face or maybe kiss him until he stopped talking. You look like the kind of guy who color codes his closet. And you look like the kind of guy who doesn't own a toothbrush. I shot back without missing a beat. He laughed. A real laugh. Warm, unexpected. And somehow that was the beginning of the end. Back in the present, Ethan takes a step toward me. Just one. It's enough to send my heart into cardiac arrest. You think you can fix this with a grand gesture? His voice is sharp now, all the softness we once had stripped away. Lucas, we're not in some fucking rom-com. You can't just stand in traffic and scream, don't go like that makes up for. He cuts himself off, jaw clenching hard. For what? I demand, my voice breaking. For loving you too much? For fighting for us when you were ready to throw it all away? His silence answers for him. And God, it hurts. I want to tell him everything I couldn't say before. That the nights without him feel like drowning in a room full of air. That every time I see his name on my phone, my heart does this stupid, painful flip like it doesn't know better by now. That no matter how much he hurts me, I'd take it all if it meant just one more morning with him. But the words stick in my throat because I'm terrified that if I say them, He'll walk away for good this time. Ethan's eyes hold mine like a storm ready to break. For a moment, I think he's going to turn and keep walking, leave me stranded in the middle of this chaos like the fool I already am. My stomach knots so tight I feel like I'm going to vomit. Right here in front of honking cars and strangers craning their necks to watch the spectacle of two men falling apart. "Lucas," he finally says, voice low, almost swallowed by the noise around us. "Go home." 2 words. That's all. And they gut me worse than any scream could. I laugh. Because what else do you do when someone rips your heart out like it's nothing? Go home. My voice cracks, ugly and raw. That's all you've got? After everything, after you want me to just, what? Pretend you don't exist. Ethan runs a hand through his hair, the leather of his jacket creaking as he exhales hard. Like this conversation is something physically painful for him. That would be easier for both of us. Easier. The word slams into me like a freight train. Easier as if I'm some burden he's desperate to shrug off. And maybe I am. God, maybe I've always been. The light changes, cars surge forward, horns blaring. Someone shouts that we're crazy. Maybe we are. But I don't move. Not until Ethan does. And when he steps toward the sidewalk, I follow like a man possessed. We end up in some shitty coffee shop a block away. The kind with flickering fluorescent lights and chipped mugs that smell faintly of bleach. It's almost empty, thank God. Except for a barista who looks like she's seen worse than 2 guys walking in with enough tension to start a war. Ethan drops into a booth without asking if I want to sit. Typical. I slide in across from him, hands still shaking as I wrap them around a lukewarm cup of coffee I didn't order. Neither of us speaks for what feels like forever. The silence is heavy, suffocating, like wet cement hardening between us. Finally, I can't take it anymore. "You were really just gonna leave?" I say, voice quiet now because if I speak any louder, I might break. "Just pack up and disappear without saying goodbye?" Ethan stares at the table like it holds all the answers. "Goodbyes are overrated." I let out a harsh laugh. "Right? Because running away is so much better." His jaw tightens, a muscle ticking there that I used to kiss when he was too tired to smile. "You don't get it, Lucas." "Then make me." I snap. "Explain it to me. Because right now, all I see is a coward who'd rather run than fight." That gets his attention. His eyes snap up to mine, gray and sharp and filled with something I can't name: anger, pain, maybe both. "You think this is easy for me?" His voice is low but fierce, like a fuse burning down. "You think I wanted any of this? You think I wanted to wake up one day and realize that the only person who ever made me feel like I wasn't broken was someone I was destined to hurt?" The words hit me like a sucker punch. I open my mouth, but nothing comes out because all I can think is, what the hell does that even mean? 3 months ago, Ethan wasn't broken. At least, not in the ways that mattered. He was reckless. Sure, impulsive as hell. Allergic to anything that smelled like permanence. But broken? No. Not when he was lying next to me in that shitty apartment on the Lower East Side. Bare feet tangled in my sheets. Grinning like he'd just stolen the sun and handed it to me. I remember that morning like it's burned into my bones. The city was loud outside, sirens and car horns and the endless hum of a world that never sleeps. But in that room, it was quiet, peaceful. The kind of quiet you don't realize you've been craving until it's pressed against your skin. Ethan stretched, his arm brushing mine, and I swear, it felt like a spark shooting straight to my heart. "You're staring," he said without opening his eyes. "Am not." "R2. He cracked one eye open, gray and teasing. "It's creepy, Lucas." I rolled my eyes, but I couldn't fight the smile tugging at my mouth. "You're impossible. And you're obsessed." He smirked, then hooked an arm around my waist and dragged me closer like I weighed nothing. "But don't worry. It's mutual." I laughed, then really laughed, the kind that bubbles up from somewhere deep and real. And for a second, I let myself believe that maybe, just maybe, we could make this work. Back in the coffee shop, that memory feels like a cruel joke. I grip the edge of the table until my knuckles go white. "If you didn't want me, you should have said so." Ethan flinches like I slapped him. "Don't," he says, voice rough. "Don't twist this into something it's not. Then tell me what it is." I demand, my voice rising despite the barista giving us side eye from behind the counter. Because right now, it feels like you're punishing me for loving you. Jesus, Lucas. Ethan scrubs a hand over his face, and for the first time, he looks tired. Really tired. The kind of tired that doesn't come from lack of sleep, but from carrying something heavy for too long. You deserve better than me. There it is, the cliché I've heard in every bad movie, every tragic love story. And yet, coming from him, it doesn't sound like an excuse. Sounds like a confession. Like he believes it with every fractured piece of him. Don't I get to decide that? I whisper. His eyes meet mine then, and I swear, I see him break. Just a little. Just enough to make hope claw its way back into my chest like a stubborn weed. I can't stay, he says finally, and his voice cracks on the last word. If I stay, I'll ruin you. I shake my head, tears burning behind my eyes, because this is the part where I'm supposed to let him go, where I'm supposed to be selfless and noble and all that bullshit. But I can't. I'm not built for that. I'm built for fighting tooth and nail for the things I can't live without. And Ethan Cole? He's at the top of that damn list. Then ruin me. I say, the words coming out like a dare. If that's what it takes. If that's the only way I get to keep you, then fucking ruin me. His breath hitches, and for a second, just one agonizing second, I think he's gonna say yes. That he's gonna pull me across this sticky coffee shop table and kiss me like the world is ending. But then his walls slam back into place, and the distance between us feels like an ocean I'll never cross. Ethan stands, tossing a crumpled bill on the table like it can pay for more than coffee. Goodbye, Lucas. And just like that, he's gone. Again. I don't remember leaving the coffee shop. Don't remember the cold biting at my face or the people brushing past me on the sidewalk. All I remember is the hollow ache in my chest, the sound of his voice echoing in my head like a ghost I can't exorcise. I should go home, crawl into bed, pull the covers over my head, and pretend like the last year of my life didn't just implode in a shitty diner booth. But instead, I wander the city like it owes me answers, like maybe if I keep moving, I'll find a version of myself that doesn't feel like he's bleeding out. Hours later, I end up on the Brooklyn Bridge, leaning against the railing while the wind whips at my coat. The city stretches out around me, glittering and endless, like it's mocking me with all its neon lies about hope and second chances. My phone buzzes in my pocket, and for a split second, I let myself hope it's him. That maybe he changed his mind. That maybe love is enough, even when everything else says it's not. It's not him. It's my sister, checking in like she always does, because she knows me too well. I stare at her name on the screen until the call goes to voicemail, then shove the phone back in my pocket and let out a breath that tastes like defeat. The truth is, I don't know how to do this. How to let go of someone who feels like oxygen in a world that keeps choking me. How to move on when every street, every song, every goddamn corner of this city feels like him. But I do know one thing. I'm not done fighting. Not yet. Not until he looks me in the eye and tells me he doesn't love me. Not until he makes me believe it. And something tells me he can't. I barely sleep that night. When I do, it's the kind of half-sleep where every sound feels like a warning. Every shadow curls into a shape I know too well. Ethan's outline, lingering in doorways he'll never walk through again. At 3 a.m., I'm on the floor of my apartment, surrounded by pieces of him I can't bring myself to throw away. A hoodie that still smells like his cologne. A ticket stub from the Knicks game we went to last winter, even though I hate basketball and he knew it. A Polaroid of us on the Coney Island boardwalk, his arm around my shoulder, his smile wide and unguarded in a way that feels like a lie now. I tell myself I should burn it all. Erase him like he's trying to erase me. But then my phone buzzes, and for one blinding second, hope claws its way up my throat. It's not him. Of course it's not him. It's Ben, one of our mutual friends, the guy who always knows more than he should. You okay? The text says, simple and loaded all at once. I stare at the screen for a long time before typing back. Do I look okay? 3 dots appear, disappear, appear again. He didn't tell you, did he? My chest tightens. Tell me what? Another pause. Longer this time. Then, It's not my place. But he's not running from you, Luke. He's running from himself. I grip the phone so hard my knuckles ache. What the hell does that even mean? But Ben doesn't reply. And suddenly, I'm shaking not from the cold, but from the weight of a question that feels bigger than me. What the hell is Ethan hiding? By sunrise, I'm already on the train to Brooklyn. I don't know what I'm expecting to find his apartment empty. Maybe a hollow shell like the space he's left in me. But when I get there, the door's unlocked. The place is a mess, even by Ethan's standards. Clothes strewn across the floor, drawers hanging open, half-packed bags spilling their contents like secrets. Ethan? My voice echoes down the hallway, bouncing off bare walls. No answer. Just the hum of the fridge and the faint buzz of traffic outside. I step inside, heart pounding, and that's when I see Ida's stack of envelopes on the kitchen counter. All unopened, all stamped with the same return address. Cole Pharmaceuticals. I freeze. Ethan never talked about his family. Not once. Anytime I asked, he'd shut down, change the subject. Kiss me like that could erase the question from my mouth. And like an idiot, I let him. I pick up the top envelope, fingers trembling. It's heavier than I expect, the paper thick and expensive, like it's trying to scream this matters. Before I can stop myself, I tear it open. Inside is a letter, a check, and one word that detonates in my brain like a bomb. Inheritance. I don't even hear him come in. 1 second I'm staring at the letter, and the next, Ethan's voice slices through the silence like a blade. What the hell are you doing? I spin around, heart in my throat. He's standing in the doorway, eyes dark and wild, hair a mess like he's been running maybe from me, maybe from himself. He looks furious. No looks terrified. Explain this, I demand, shoving the letter at him. My voice is shaking, but not from fear, from rage, from betrayal. Explain why you've been lying to me for months. His jaw clenches so hard I can hear his teeth grind. Put it down, Lucas. No, I take a step closer, my chest heaving. Not until you tell me why the guy who swore he had nothing to offer me. Nothing to Lozy Eyes sitting on enough money to buy this entire goddamn building. Ethan rakes a hand through his hair, pacing like a caged animal. It's not what you think. Then what the fuck is it? I shout, my voice cracking on the last word. Because right now, it looks like you've been feeding me bullshit about being broken and dangerous and unworthy while cashing checks from Daddy's empire. He stops pacing, his gaze snapping to mine with a heat that steals the air from my lungs. You think this is about money? Jesus, Lucas, you have no idea. Then tell me. My hands are fists now, nails biting into my palms. Because I'm done guessing. I'm done begging for scraps of the truth while you decide what parts of yourself I'm allowed to love. His breath shudders out, and for a second, I see it crack in his armor. The part of him that wants to spill everything. But then he shuts down just like always, his voice going cold and sharp. You don't want this truth, Lucas. Yes. I whisper, my throat raw. I do, even if it kills me. For a long moment, the only sound is our breathing ragged, uneven, like two boxers waiting for the bell. Then Ethan speaks, and his words land like a punch I never see coming. My father's dead. I blink. Once. Twice. What? He died 6 months ago. Ethan's voice is flat, like he's reciting someone else's story. Heart attack. Out of nowhere. I open my mouth, but nothing comes out. 6 months ago. That was when we were still happy. When he was still smiling like the world wasn't ending. I didn't tell you, he continues, eyes fixed on the floor. Because I knew what would come next. The lawyers. The board. The vultures circling for scraps of a legacy I never wanted. My stomach drops. You're saying, you're the heir. A bitter laugh tears from his throat. Congratulations. You solved the mystery. Ethan Cole, billionaire's son, professional disappointment. Bet you feel special now. Don't do that. I snap, anger flaring again because sarcasm is his favorite weapon, and I'm done being his target. Don't turn this into a joke just because you're scared. His head snaps up, eyes blazing. You think I'm scared? I think you've been scared since the day I met you. I fire back. Scared of letting someone in. Scared of being seen. And guess what? You failed, Ethan. Because I see you. All of you. And I'm still here. His breath catches, just barely. But I hear it. Feel it. And it's enough to push me over the edge. You didn't run because of me? I say softly, stepping closer. You ran because you couldn't stand the idea of someone loving you when you don't love yourself. For a heartbeat, the world goes still. Then Ethan moves fast, like he's breaking free of something, and suddenly his mouth is on mine. The kiss isn't gentle. It's a collision, a car crash, a fucking supernova detonating behind my ribs. His hands grip my face like he's trying to memorize every line, every curve, every piece of me before it's too late. I taste salt mine, his, don't care, because this isn't just a kiss. It's an apology, a confession, a war cry. I kiss him back like my life depends on it. Because maybe it does. Because maybe this is the last time, and I can't waste it on fear. When we finally break apart, gasping like we've run a marathon, I press my forehead to his and whisper, "Don't you dare leave me again." His eyes are wild, gray and endless, storm clouds ready to swallow me whole. I don't know how to stay. Then let me teach you. We don't make it to the bed. We barely make it to the couch before we're tearing at each other's clothes like they're the only things standing between us and salvation. And maybe they are. Maybe this is how we survive, not with promises or plans, but with skin on skin, breath on breath, hearts beating so loud they drown out everything else. Later hours, La Turway lie tangled in the wreckage, the city humming outside like a lullaby we don't deserve. Ethan's head rests on my chest, his breath warm against my skin, and for the first time in weeks, I feel something like peace. But deep down, I know this isn't over. Not even close, because secrets like his don't stay buried. And love like ours is a battlefield. Always has been. 2 weeks. That's how long it's been since I woke up alone in Ethan's apartment. The sheets cold. His scent fading like a ghost I couldn't hold on to. I should have seen it coming. The way his walls were still up, even when his body was pressed against mine. The way he kissed me like he was saying goodbye without saying the words. But hope makes you blind. Love makes you stupid. And I've been both, from the second I laid eyes on him. The headlines hit first. Cole Air takes CEO role amid controversy. His face splashed across every business site, every glossy magazine cover. The man who swore he wanted nothing to do with his father's empire now standing at the helm of it. Suit sharp, smile sharper. The perfect image of control. Except I know better. I know those eyes. I know what they look like when he's drowning. What I don't know is why he didn't call. Why he didn't trust me enough to let me in when the world came crashing down on him. It's almost midnight when my phone buzzes. I'm half asleep on the couch, a beer sweating on the coffee table, the TV droning some late-night infomercial. For a second, I think I'm dreaming when I see his name light up the screen. Ethan. My heart stumbles, then takes off at a dead sprint. I stare at the phone until it stops ringing, breath locked in my chest. Then it buzzes again, this time with a message. Meet me, Pier 17. 1 hour. No explanation. No apology. Just a command that sounds like a lifeline. I don't even think. I grab my jacket and run. The pier is almost empty when I get there. The city lights throwing shards of gold across the black water. The wind cuts like glass, whipping my scarf loose as I scan the shadows for him. And then I see him. Ethan stands at the edge of the pier, hands shoved in the pockets of a tailored coat that probably costs more than my rent. His hair's longer now, curling over his forehead, like he hasn't had time to care. Or maybe he doesn't anymore. When he turns, the sight of him knocks the breath from my lungs. Because despite everything, the suit, the empire, the headline, she looks wrecked. Like a man holding himself together with nothing but spit and stubbornness. Lucas. My name on his lips is a prayer. Or maybe a curse. I want to be angry. I want to scream, demand answers, tell him exactly what it felt like to wake up alone after giving him everything. But when I open my mouth, all that comes out is, why? his eyes close like that single word breaks him in ways nothing else could. Because they would have destroyed you if I stayed. Try me? I snap, stepping closer, my blood boiling now. Try me, Ethan. Because newsflash, I was already destroyed when you left. His breath shudders out, fog curling in the air between us. I thought I could keep you safe by walking away. Safe from what? He hesitates, and that silence tells me everything. Whatever this ice, it's bigger than me, bigger than us. And for the first time, I wonder if love is enough to survive the weight of his world. Tell me, I plead softer now. Please. Ethan swallows hard, eyes flicking to the water like it holds answers he can't say aloud. My father's company. It's rotten, Lucas. Corruption, bribes, deals that could put people in prison for the rest of their lives. And now it's mine. Every skeleton, every crime, they handed it to me with a silver fucking bow. Then burn it down. I say without thinking, the words tumbling out like gasoline on a match. Burn it to the ground and start over. His laugh is sharp, bitter. It's not that simple. Yes, it is. I shoot back, closing the distance between us until I can see the tremor in his jaw. You make it that simple. You take all that power they shoved in your lap and you use it to do something good. Something that doesn't destroy you. His eyes lock on mine then, and for the first time in weeks, I see a flicker of hope. Fragile, dangerous, but real. You really think I can fix this? He says, voice barely above a whisper. I think you already know how, I reply. You just needed someone to remind you you're not alone. For a long moment he just stares at me, and I swear, the whole city goes quiet. Then, without warning, he grabs my face and kisses me like he's been holding his breath for 2 weeks straight. This kiss is different. Not desperate like last time, not sharp with goodbye. This one feels like a beginning, like a promise. When we break apart, foreheads pressed together, his voice is raw. I don't deserve you. Good thing I'm not asking for perfect, I whisper. Just stay. And for the first time, he says the words I've been dying to hear. I will. The next months are chaos. Board meetings, legal battles, headlines screaming coal empire cleanup. Every day, Ethan fights to dismantle the monster his father built, piece by piece. And every day, I watch him bleed for it. But he lets me in now. Every scar, every secret, every crack in the armor, I see it all. And he doesn't run. Not anymore. Some nights, he comes home so tired he can barely stand. I make him tea, press a kiss to his temple, and remind him why he's doing this. For redemption. For freedom. For us. Other nights, he doesn't make it home at all, and I lie awake staring at the ceiling, wondering if love is strong enough to carry this weight. But then he calls, voice soft and wrecked, saying, I just needed to hear you. And it's enough to keep me breathing. The day the last deal falls through, the day Ethan cuts the final tie to his father's empire, shows up at my door at dawn. No suit, no tie, just jeans and a hoodie, hair a mess from the wind. It's done, he says, eyes shining like I've never seen. It's finally over. I pull him inside before the neighbors can see the tears streaming down my face. So what now? He grins a real grin, the kind I thought I'd never see again. Now, we start over. And just like that, the world tilts back into place. Months later, we're standing on the Brooklyn Bridge at sunset. The city spread out beneath us like a promise we finally kept. Ethan's hand is warm in mine, his thumb brushing lazy circles against my skin. You know, he says, voice low and teasing, you were a real pain in the ass chasing me down that day. Yeah. Well, I smirk, leaning into his shoulder. Someone had to save you from yourself. He laughs a sound so light it feels like music and presses a kiss to my hair. Guess I owe you one. You can start by never walking away again. His grip tightens, and when he speaks, his voice is steady. Certain. Never. And as the sun sinks behind the skyline, painting the world in gold, I believe him. For the first time, I really believe him. Because love isn't easy. It's messy and brutal and terrifying. But sometimes if you're lucky, it's also the one thing strong enough to save you. And standing there, with Ethan's heart beating against mine. I know this. We were worth every fight, every scar, every broken piece it took to put us back together. We were worth it all. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.